Polaris still down. Let's go. Got the Kubota back. There's hogs right here. We're probably gonna have to walk out. Welcome to the channel. Sprayed the fields last week. We're about to go out and see how dead they are. A little worried about it. It flooded after both days of spraying, so we'll see if it was able to dry on the leaf and kill the grass. Really hopeful it did. Tough week last week. We had this right here going on. Pretty good over here.
That was been bent.
Oh, okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Oh, your shaft's bent over there?
You remember a long time ago, Matt?
Whoa, bent shaft, Larry. Never good. Obviously, Polaris still down. I'm about to haul it back, but let's go. Got the Kubota back. My dad and I had to, when I say my dad and I, really, it was him. He had to diagnose the problem. Had a hydraulic line that was split and leaking. So we fished it out, replaced it, well, pulled it out, found somebody to build us a new one, to make us a new one. Hooked it all back up. Vapor locks all on the engine. So D figured out how to get those unlocked, and she's rolling. Hopefully y'all see a whole lot more of this baby. Don't drink that. That is coolant, so it probably wouldn't be good for you. But we're gonna get this off. We're gonna try and get this on the trailer somehow. I'll probably pull the truck up and get it on a nice slope and roll it over as close as I can, and then get the winch to do the rest. But it's gonna be a good day, guys. It's gonna be a good day. Is it the best I've ever seen? No. Is it the worst? Also no. So we're heading over there. We're gonna try and get it pretty close, and then maybe I can roll it on. Just like that. Feels really nice today, at least. I have like 84. We did see a fawn last week. Oh, it's right there. It's running pretty good. It said, which was awesome. It is September 1st. I know I've talked to y'all a little bit about our struggles with fawns being born so late and how that affects them later on in life. Man, I do not think this is a neutral. So it was good to see one. My dad actually was driving around spraying a field and he saw it and he pointed it out and we kind of walked up on it. There's no way this is neutral. It says it is. I'm weak. I'm a disgrace. No way. A lot of deer tracks here in the cabin yard. This is the spot right here. Right up through there. And now we know where to find them. Don't really want to do it. Now listen, you may watch all this and be like, this should be a training video on how to not do things, and that's fine. But I will say, when you're handling this winch cable, you want to, like, as it's coming out, don't slide your hand along the cable. You always want to like grab one place, grab the next place as it's rolling, because you can get yourself into pretty bad shape sliding your hands across it. It's probably a better idea to just wear gloves as well, but I still wouldn't slide my hands across it. How can I do this? Oh yeah, here we go. There's hogs right here. There you go. I don't know, probably 2 or 3 big ones. 8 to 10 small ones. They were just chilling there at the feeder. I can't breathe. I'm so out of shape. Oh, thank you, Lord. There you go. While we're here, we're going to look at a spot I call the Big Oak Creek. Whew. I hope y'all can see him at least once. We're good. Alright. So I think my tree is over there. Maybe. Big Oak Creek. A lot of deer in here. Number of good bucks. I got a slick bark tree that I like to climb in here. That's it. That sort of goes up and then has a big split coming off in front of it. It's pretty unique. It's so much cooler in this draw where I'm at right now. A little bit more cover above us. Okay. There's some smaller hogs. And I was trying to see if I could catch up with one. And yoink it. Never done that before. There's a first time for everything. Oh, I'm not far enough down. Okay. We'll look at this real quick. Man, that'd have been awesome if I could have snatched one of those jokers. Oh yeah, so pretty. I had a buck. It's probably been 6-7 years ago. I was hunting in here, opening morning of bow season, and he came in, I don't know, 42 yards or something like that. I didn't shoot at him. I wasn't confident at that range at that point, and I figured we may get a chance at him later in the season. So season went on, and then my uncle from Mississippi came over and shot him. We'll show a picture. Terminator is what we called him, because at the end of the season before, he got all beat up and blind in one eye. I was like swollen. I don't actually know if I have pictures of that anymore, but he was blind in that eye the rest of his life the next year. But I came in here and This is my tree I like to climb. I'll climb up this side, and then maybe you can see an easy hanger up in here. I'll be sitting on this side. You can kind of put your feet out and lean them on this side, looking maybe 65, 70 yards that way. The draw kind of wraps around this way in the planted pines. And then seems like they do a lot of heavy bedding this direction. It's really thick. Planted pines coming in to our property line, 120-ish yards that way. And then it's this beautiful acorn dropping trees to my right, because I'm left-handed. So I'm looking this way. I'm actually facing this way so I can stand and turn and shoot this way. All this is money. You got that creek bed running along through here. A lot of good crossings along this creek. We've seen some good deer in here over the years. It's beautiful in here. Okay. That'd have been way cooler if I caught up to one of those. I really hope y'all can see them at least. I kind of hit record and jumped off because they were just standing there right off the edge of the field. I know we'll have trail cam pictures of the group that I saw, but it would be nice if y'all could actually see them in the video. All right, rolling on. This is the first buck sign I've seen since probably June. So that's a good sign. Oh yeah, here we go. Figured, so this is a row bed we bush hog in and out of both ways. But here's another one. Pretty fresh. Probably within the last week since it rained on Friday. It's Monday. Today is Labor Day. It won't be for y'all, but Labor Day is when I'm recording this. So. Good sign. A little bit of buck activity starting up. We will get to start hunting October 15th. Not as fresh. Get to start hunting October 15th, and hopefully that weekend we got something to show for it. We gotta hunt bucks. Well, we gotta hunt bucks. We can't shoot does the first 10 days because of how late our does drop fawns. So we'll be locked in on bucks Wednesday through Friday. And trying to make it happen. I didn't even really look at this when I jumped off the side-by-side and started chasing those hogs that were standing in the bushes, but the spray definitely is working. A lot of death going on here. We got about 11, 12 more days before we bush hog, but that looks very good. If all the fields look like that, it'll be a huge win. The grass is going to be absolutely crispy by the time we bush hog. DED, dead, on its way. I don't know if I got them or not. This first week of September, last week of August for us is an important time when we're talking about looking at cameras and checking SD cards, because this is where the majority of our hit list photos come from. The pictures that we kind of take and work through and decide which bucks we want to chase and which bucks might need a little more time. And so this week's pictures, which are from last week, and then the SD cards that I pull next week will kind of get us headed in the right direction, where I can start to build what our hit list looks like. So this is important for us. This is that time we're kind of there at their peak, or they're at their final stage of antler growth, or maybe they're actually finished growing their antlers. They're still velvet. Personally, for me, with the setup we have, a little kind of hack that I like to use. Dang. More and more buck sign around the property. A little hack that I like to use is, if we're chasing the buck, I prefer to have pictures of him in velvet. I know they look bigger, but that's kind of the point. I don't want him to walk out and he look any bigger than we thought he was. And then if they need some time, I prefer to, like, if we're like, man, this buck would be awesome if he could get a year. I like to have those bucks as, you know, hard horn, like their antlers are completely shed of velvet, and they maybe when they walk out they look bigger because you know, depending on, there's so many things that determine how big a buck looks on camera or how small he looks, but velvet is a big one. Like velvet pictures, they look a lot bigger when they're in velvet. So for me, I like to have our shooters in velvet, and our non-shooters are the bucks that we kind of think we may want to pass on. And, you know, hard horn, just clean antlers. And we do a good job. I mean, we're not, no fines on our property. My dad's always been a strong believer in, you know, fines don't really fix the problem. And I am a strong believer in the idea of, like, we're going to build out a hit list, but if a guy views a buck as a trophy and he wants to shoot that deer and he's like, man, this is a trophy for me, I'm going to mount this deer, like, I'm never going to tell a guy, you know, you shouldn't have shot that buck. That's not really, I have no interest in that. I think a lot of the conversation around hunting in general has shifted to that, and I think a lot of well, two different camps that I'm not a big fan of. The camp of people that are in the, like, 1%, they have the just premium setup they've worked their entire life for, and they hunt incredible land in you know, wherever, Iowa, Illinois, all your big buck states, and they're like, you should be doing this, you should be passing this, you shouldn't be shooting these deer. And it's like, man, that is not reality for 99% of the guys that are watching this. So I'm not a big fan of just blanket, like, do this, don't do this. And then the second group is all the keyboard warriors that, you know, no offense if this is you, but they've killed 1 or 2 bucks in their life, and they decide that they're gonna be an expert on all things hunting, and they're gonna talk crap about everybody and the ways that they hunt, and have no frame of reference for a region of the country or different factors that goes into the size of bucks that you're chasing. So for me, and on our property, we are trying to hunt mature bucks. We put a lot into management and supplemental feeding and watching deer for sometimes years, you know, sometimes 4 or 5 years. And with that investment comes the hope that we're hunting more and more mature bucks. Usually mature bucks can lead to bigger antlers. Not always the case. That is not a 100% guarantee at all. A lot of the times, dang! Tearing it up. A lot of the times, our biggest bucks are 4-year-olds when it comes to antlers. We have rare cases where bucks continue to grow into that 5-6-year-old age range, but our oldest bucks, I'll be chasing a couple of them this year. Our oldest bucks are a lot of times just beat to hell. I mean, their antlers have gone downhill once they hit that, you know, 6-year-old range. To me, there's still a great reward in chasing those bucks. Oftentimes an even greater reward for me personally in chasing a buck that is 6-7 years old. For us, that's a, you know, 200 to 220 pound deer in South Alabama, versus chasing, you know, 165 to 170 pound 4-year-old that might be much prettier. You know, that 4-year-old might be 130 inches for us, and that 6-year-old honestly might be 50 or 60 inches, just jacked up. We got one this year that we've been hunting for 5 years now. We call him Mongrel, and just jacked up rack. It's been that way for 3 years now, and to me, that buck's won all the battles. So there's no telling how many hunters he's come in contact with and evaded them or outsmarted them, recognized that they were there, and he's won all the battles. He's gotten to a point in his life where he's headed downhill, and, you know, there's no bringing it back. Yeah, I think he's probably 7 years old, and for me, that's such an awesome buck to chase and to close the book on, because he's won the battle. Like, you know, in the end, I would rather us harvest that buck and you know, be able to close the book on him and finish the story on him, as opposed to him dying in a creek somewhere. But if it continues going the way it has been, I mean, we're not going to kill him. He's just too smart. But everybody does it different. But for us, the best way we figured out to do that is to build a hit list for everybody. We all work off the same thing. That makes it to where when someone shoots a buck that's on the hit list, There's no questions. You know, you're excited about that because it's so hard to get these bucks to maturity. And if you're not excited about that, this isn't the club for you. But that also makes it to where, like, we're not all on the same page in terms of experience. We all haven't killed the same number of deer. And there's guys in this club that view certain bucks as trophies that those of us that have just shot more deer might look at it differently. And for me, I'm not in the business of, telling a guy he shouldn't shoot a deer if he views it as a trophy. I think that is the dumbest thing in the world. And if you're a meat hunter, you're probably not still watching this. But we shoot tons of does. Like, I kill a bunch of does. I've killed 26, I think, the past 3 years. And I believe in shooting does. We have a bunch of does. We try and cut down those numbers, but that's where the meat comes from for me. And then the bucks are just in the setup we have. We have some bucks that I feel like are really great bucks. And once they reach that, age of maturity, we're trying to hunt them. I mean, hard. So, that's just kind of how I feel about it. I think we've gotten so skewed, like, and I don't know, what all goes into that. If you told me we couldn't use trail cameras at all anymore, I'd be fine with that. If you told me we couldn't bait anymore, I'd be fine with that. But I don't think any of those things have led to the negative sentiment that comes with a lot of where we're at today. I think it is just the mindset of guys, and they see it a certain way on TV or a YouTube channel, which I know that's where we're at right here. But they see it a certain way and they think it has to be done that way, or it's not being done right. And I just don't know if there is a right way. You go from East Coast to the Midwest to up north to the Southeast. There's a lot of different ways to hunt whitetail, and I think there's a lot of different right ways to hunt whitetail. And depending on the region you're in, you got to figure out what that looks like. If you're in, the Southeast, maybe the way we're doing it, you kind of it resonates with you. And, maybe if you're not in that area, it doesn't. But that's sort of the mindset I have on it is this is supposed to be fun. And this is supposed to be, we're making memories and we're hanging out together, and there's such joy and peace that comes with being out here. And when you begin to police it in a way that it takes out that joy and that peace, and there's, whether it be drama between guys in a hunting club or just, disagreements and fights, that's not the way that I feel like it's supposed to go. So we build a hit list. And like I said, why this is important is I build a hit list and then we work off that hit list. And like I said, there's a couple guys that might shoot a deer that is not on that hit list. And it's not like you're out of the club, it's not like that. It's, if it's a trophy to that person, then who am I to say that they shouldn't shoot it? I mean, that's just dumb. Like, you need to find better friends if if that's the case. Like, but that's just sort of my opinion on that. So that's why this time of year is really important, and why I'm trying to, make the most of the opportunities to see what is out there, to try and age them correctly. There's no better time than right now to do that, because they're still in bachelor groups. We got about 6 weeks left before we get to start hunting. And yeah, I mean, trying to make those decisions right now as opposed to in the field is the best way we've come up with to do that. I remember way back we were 6-pointer better, then we moved to 8-pointer better, and then eventually, because there's just really big deer that don't meet that criteria, really old deer that don't meet that criteria, and we moved to trying to figure out what does a mature buck look like. And in the beginning, that started for us as let's try and shoot deer that are 180 pounds. And the more you hunt, the more you realize every 5-year-old, every 6-year-old deer is not going to be the same body length. Different body lengths lead to different weights. So it gets to the point where it's like, let's try and build history with these bucks. And most of the bucks that we'll be chasing this year, we will have years of history with, which is nice. We hunt private land, and if you're not in that same setup, I get that this doesn't relate to you, but we try and hunt bucks that we have years of history with, and we kind of have a good idea of what it looks like for us, for those 5-6-year-old bucks. And then every once in a while, a 4-year-old will sneak into that hit list. There's going to be the buck that I will hunt opening week is a brand new deer. End of July, he came in, no idea who he is, but he's a tank. I mean, 100% mature buck, huge. For us, I say huge. Huge is relative. Huge to me is 130-inch hate point. That's a huge deer for us. And man, if you love watching guys chase 120 to 130-inch deer, this channel is for you. And if you're like, those are the smallest deer I've ever seen, what am I doing? This channel is probably not for you. Like that's just what we have in Grady, Alabama. So welcome to the channel. This grass being dead makes me so happy. Because we weren't going to come back and spray it again. So we were a little worried because it flooded both days. D was spraying on Thursday. It flooded, rained him out. And then we were all down here and he was spraying on Friday and rained him out again. So the fact that these fields are dying. Huge win. So to add to and kind of cap off that conversation about our hit list, everyone is also not on the same page when it comes to how easy it is for them to identify deer or different bucks. And that comes really easy for some people and really hard for others. We have a couple that are pretty good at it and a couple that are horrendous at it. But for us, like the best way I've figured out to do it is to make a shared photo album in photos and then just dump them into there, kind of organize them, dump them into there. And the reason I like that, and I'm sure there's other ways you could do this, but the reason I like is once I put them up in there and the different guys, let's say Jason opens his phone and they load into his photos, they don't ever have to load again. So once they load in that first time, he's got them. The different guys have them and they can kind of look at them. It also, if we bring a guest and the member that they came with is brave enough to send them out on their own, it gives them sort of a point of reference. He can just invite them to that shared hit list and kind of say, in this area, here's a few bucks that we're kind of looking for. And then after I say all that, I'll say, in 40 years, when me and my buddies are on our deathbed, I don't think we will care one single bit that we shot that 4-year-old and didn't let him get it to 5. That is my personal thoughts on the situation. Now, we try hard to manage, and I encourage, if you've got private land, management goes a long way in the quality of deer that you'll see and, what you might run into on your property. But I just don't think it matters that much in the grand scheme of things. Like, if we're out here trying to make memories and have fun and, provide meat for our families. I've talked about that. I don't think it's cheaper to do it this way anymore, the way we're doing it. But if it's cheaper that way for you, that's awesome. For us, the way we're doing it is probably not cheaper. But we love it. And like, I just don't think it's going to be one of those deals where it's like, you see all these guys that have massive properties and they're kind of trying to convince you with your 100 acres to pass on that 4-year-old so they can kill him when he's 5 or 6. I personally think that's ridiculous. So that's sort of the stance I take on that. And I'm certain there will be people that disagree with me. And that is not something that bothers me. I think there's much more important things and reasons why we're out here than something trivial like that. And of the bucks that are on our hit list this year, I mean, we'll probably have 15 to 18, depending on if there's some really, really nice deer that range in that haven't been here all off season. We could potentially get to 20. I don't think we will, but there may be a couple 4-year-olds and the rest of those bucks are going to be 5 and 6. But at the end of the day, I just do not think it's life or death. Like you have to be doing this, and this, or you're not serious about it. I think that's kind of ridiculous. There's no doubt a lot better resources out there than this guy for this. But if you are out there and you're like, I want to start hunting for maturity versus just the way you've always done it, maybe this buck's antlers look nice, whatever. The first step and the hardest step for people is you got to throw the antlers out. I mean, you have to start looking at the body, and you have to start comparing the bodies of these bucks to each other. And odds are, depending on property size, odds are you can pretty much figure out what a mature buck looks like. You definitely can figure out what the oldest buck looks like and work from there. But if you have years of history on a property, for sure you can figure out this is what the oldest buck looks like. This is where, everything about him, length of the body, he looks taller than everybody else. Brisket, belly, a lot of times hump in their back. Neck size is going to be different throughout the year, not just in winter. But you gotta work towards throwing the antlers out. I like to, because there'll be some bucks that we know are young, and then older bucks, and I like to put something, take 2 different pictures, put them side by side, and put some kind of emoji blocking their head, their antlers, and ask guys, which one's the older buck. And a lot of times it's very difficult when you're comparing those bucks that are in that 4 to 6 range, depending on region of the country. For us, I do feel like it is more difficult at times because our scale goes to our heaviest deer we've ever killed on this property is, well, let's just go the last 15 years, 216 pounds. So our scale goes to 220 pounds. There's places in the country where their scale goes to 300 plus pounds live weight. So 300 pounds, that means there's going to be bigger gaps between age classes. So depending on where you are, it can be more or less difficult, but you got to begin to look at the body, throw the antlers out. And like I said, if you have years of history, then it should be pretty easy for you to do that. If it's a brand new property, I've talked to guys before that are setting up new properties, and people look at you like you're insane, but I'll tell guys, like, if it was me, I wouldn't kill any bucks the first 2 years. And I know that's hard, like, for guys to buy into, but after 2 years, going into that third year, I mean, if you got a mega giant that's just insane, you make an exception. But after 2 years, moving into that third year, you should have enough data, and you should have bucks that have moved up in the age class to where you're looking at bucks of all ages. And like, property size can dictate some of that, but if you have a decent sized piece of property, I mean, bucks, when they get to those older ages, it's not because they're stupid. They figure out holes to live in where people can't find them. And for me, I mean, you got to begin to prioritize what actually matters, and begin to place priority on things that are more controllable, I'd say. So, like, things that are really important to me on our property are history with the bucks. So I think it's awesome that we started killing bucks that we've known for 4 or 5 years. And then encounters, I mean, is another huge one, where it's like you encounter a buck that when he's really young, and you pass on him, and then he gets older, and that's just, I think that's pretty awesome. And we've had numerous occasions where guys have passed on bucks, and then later on we shoot them. I passed a nice deer that was sort of fringe last year, 11 point, and he'll be a shooter this year, and I hope somebody kills him. I mean, whether it's me or somebody else, I hope somebody kills him, because it's just, it kind of, there's layers to the story, and it means more in a sense. And he's a pretty buck, but that's kind of just the icing on the cake. I think when you start to prioritize age, you start to prioritize maturity, and then you start to layer in things that really are more controllable. The neighbor can shoot the deer. I mean, I don't think it's you can't control the neighbors. I mean, it's probably a good idea to have a relationship with them and kind of see what their goals are in terms of management, but I don't think you should make decisions based on what the neighbor's shooting, because I do think a lot of the times we're talking about the neighbor, and we are the neighbor to somebody else. I like to tell people, like, you're the neighbor to somebody else. So just keep that in mind. Like, to somebody else, you may be shooting a buck they're passing. And in the grand scheme of things, does that matter to me? No, not really. I think you should make a plan for the group of guys you're hunting with, and try and work the plan. But I did want to add, I mean, I've been kind of talking about what it looks like and how much different elements of this whole thing frustrate me. But at the end of the day, like, if you are trying to grow bigger deer, chase bigger deer, maturity is the best way to do that. Like, maturity is the best, most controllable way. Like, you can choose not to shoot a buck. That, now, like I said, the neighbor can shoot him, different guy in your club can shoot him, but you can make the choice. I'm not going to shoot this buck, and he's just not. Odds are, when they get to that fringe age, they're not going to walk in front of that many people. Now, if they're 3 years old, they could still be really dumb and walking in front of everyone, walking out on a power line. And if they walk out on that power line, they're going to die. That's not our property, so. If there's bucks laying in hearing distance of me, maybe they'll take that advice and live to be really old. Double thumbs up. Engine's overheating. Reservoir is full. Radiator's empty. I brought a Gatorade bottle of coolant just in case, because we've had trouble with the reservoir running empty and it started to overheat. But it seems like it's not pulling water coolant into the radiator, so that's good. We're in the back of the property. My tire had also decided to leak some air. Seems like it's stopped now, but right there where we got that little dent. So we're probably gonna have to walk out. It's gonna be a good day, guys. It's gonna be a good day. GoPro battery's about to die. Already ran out of the other one. Don't have the rest of them with me, so y'all are gonna really miss a good time. Maybe our final update. When I pour water into the radiator, it runs out the opposite side in the back near the engine. Wondering if we disconnected a line on accident, because it will not hold liquid. So, oh man, come here, bro. This good news bee did want to share the good news with us. I'm not sure what the good news is, but we sure enough about to walk up out of here. I mean, that thing's humongous. Okay. Anyways, got to walk out. We made it a little stretch. Then we got to overheating again. I don't want to mess it up. So we got maybe 1,000 yards. Not too bad today. We got the batteries secure in the plastic bag because I don't want to carry them. We are gonna carry the case. Everything else stays. Bad batteries, trash, shovel, snake, wrangler. Obviously, Kubota stays. So, as excited as I was to start the day, we really ended on a low point. But the vibes are high. I don't even know what that means, but we're staying positive. We're walking out. It's times like these that really make you question, you know, like, if we don't kill any of these bucks this year, like, was it worth it? But we will. It'll be worth it. One positive note is we did make it to all of the places we wanted to get to. We got all the SD cards. We got feed where we wanted to get it. So, dang. Hogs. It's not a total loss. We'll live to fight another day. All right, that's all I got. See y'all.